Welcome everybody. Down live in the Nexon Arena, the Oleg Giga Internet KeSPA Cup 2015. Great to be back. How are you doing, Wolf?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. KeSPA Cups are always a lot of fun. It's like a all-out arena grab up for tons of money and also all those WCS points. We got a lot of those on the line. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that later, but this is basically what this tournament's all about. We got these 16 players all in this gauntlet. We're going to have 6 best-of-5s today. That's a lot of Starcraft.
Yeah. If you want to watch Starcraft, you should be watching this. Don't watch the fight. Come watch
get off
Starcraft.
that fight. Will you watch people punch each other? That's inhumane. We could actually just watch people virtually
punch each other,
virtually destroy each other with army
and stuff.
Yeah, rip people apart with zealots and zerglings and marines just blasting people in the face. That sounds more interesting to me.
To me as well. We're on the same boat here.
Maybe millions of dollars on the line in that fight, but there are millions of Korean won on the line
and
here for these
WCS
players.
Points. About that.
Are those fighters going to get any WCS points if they win? I don't think so. They're not going to BlizzCon.
No, man. Of course not.
And hello, guys. This is Sojong, and I'm here to show you guys the tournament info, but I guess we'll spoil it for us. And race ratio is KeSPA Cup seed. We have Zest and Hero, and from Neighbor Starlink GSL seed, we have Mario, Dream, Parting, and Life. And from the people who made it to the online qualifiers, we have FanTaSy, Terminator, Myungshik, Deer, and Stats. And we have Byal, and Sulky, and Dark. And from the most winning rankings from round 2 of Pro League, we have Luzira and Rogue.
Luziera's my boy.
And comparing to last season, we have not so many Terrans. We will only have 3. And there are lots of Protoss next to Terrans. And of course, I just mentioned that Luzira and Rogue is the seed player from Pro League. And this is a lot of good matches.
Oh, yes, it is, Sojong. Look at this bracket. What? Zest versus FanTaSy. Now, that wouldn't ordinarily look that great, except FanTaSy got 4-0 in his GSL group, so suddenly that's a lot more hype. Lucira versus Dark. Excellent ZVZ. I mean, I don't even have time to read all these, but let's take a look at this.
I'll go for the information for you guys.
Yeah.
For the first
Sojong,
match.
tell us.
Okay. The points for watching this is that Zest won KeSPA Cup last season, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it twice this season. And he won IESF World Championship, GSL, and he won another IEM World Championship. And he's been strong in really short-term tournaments. So I know that he has possibilities, but he has a really weak PVT compared to other race plays. So let's see if he's overcome that problem.
Yeah, like, for example, one of the big issues here is, can FanTaSy survivor the Tomb of Terrans?
Right.
Yeah,
and
man.
For FanTaSy, he's been, he's the hot potato for this tournament after he moved out from SK Telecom T1. He has a lot of fans cheering for him since he was a really good player in Brood War. And now he hasn't had any winning records for StarCraft 2. Well, he is one of the 3 Terrans for this competition. So let's see where he will be able to end up as a terrorist. And
that's what we'll see.
Second match, we have Luzira and Dark. Luzira that Wolf is favoring.
This is my boy.
They are the best Zergs in Pro League. And there's one thing in common for these 2 players, that they are the Zerg players as they are in the lead for Pro League. And the playstyle for both of them are really different because Luzira has really fast hands with really good ZVZ, but on the other hand, Dark has his own styles. He has a Corruptor, Zergling, Baneling combination, and he's really good for the ZVTs. And now that they don't have lots of experience here, the first match will be the most important. And for Life and Terminator, the opponent records are 3-3, so it's half and half. But
how did Terminator take 3 wins over Life? That's the question here.
Yeah, but he is the king of Heart of the Swarm, Life is, and he is just the best Zerg at the moment. And when other Zerg players were having a hard time with the Swarm host patch, he's been on the fly all the time. And Terminator hasn't been able to show himself in Pro League, but he has that opponent record of 3-3, so I don't know how it's going to go, but he is still doing better for individual leagues. So he has possibilities. I'm sorry.
Sojong, I like your hair today.
I love your hair, Sojong.
I love mine too,
it's looking really good.
Yeah.
I just get this really fun vibe from today. Like, I feel like it's going to be good games. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sojong has some really good hair.
Most importantly.
I'm not used to Sojung reading the CGs, so like this has been. I mean, this isn't even really a CG. It's like Sojung's got these like stone tablets of like history that she's like translating to you guys.
She's
like,
reading the Rosetta Stone of Starcraft.
They're not even in English. I mean, she's just reading this to you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely going to be a fun start to today. It's going to be a long day of StarCraft. Like this could end up being like 8 to 10 hours long, depending on how long the games go. So these are all best of 5s, and it's single elimination. You lose your best of 5, you're out. Goodbye. See you later.
Right.
It's going to be hard for FanTaSy, I think. He got out of his group, his GSL group, in a 4-0, of course, but he defeated 2 Zergs. Today he's going up against Zest. You know, we had that CG that was like, can he overcome the Tomb of Terrans? But I mean, Zest is still a really good Protoss, and FanTaSy, I think, is going to have a hard time in this first one.
I think so too. Definitely favor Zest. Zest is, you know, he had a bit of a rocky pro league. Like he had a ton of wins, but he also had a ton of losses. Like he gave away.
He played a ton for KT.
Yeah, I think he played literally every single match for them. So he gave away a lot of points. He did win a lot. We've got some events behind us. Sojung, do you wanna like translate those?
Okay, here we go. So if you guys are here, you guys have this dice that you can roll. There's a smart wart. I don't know, and
smart wart.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. And you have the limited edition of World of Warcraft gaming mouse, backpacks, and second one, I'm the Viper. I kidnapped someone. So that is, if you bring your friends, family.
Wait. Can you clarify? You are the Viper?
I'm a Viper. I can kidnap. And if you guys are picked, you guys are given, well, you guys will be given a $50 worth of certificates to eat outside.
I hope the Viper grabs me. I'm tall like a Colossus.
Not? And there is a backpack brand called HTML. If you guess the color of that ball inside the backpack, you will be able to get that backpack, and you have to get it right through a lottery machine here. And the fourth one is, this is a sponsor of our league, Ole KT Internet. So if you cheer for your player that you want to cheer and answer all the quizzes on the Pro League Facebook, which will go out through the broadcasted page, you will be given lots of presents. So don't forget to answer all the quizzes. And now here's your matchup.
Thank you, Sojung, for that translation. As always, Zest versus FanTaSy, Lucira versus Dark, Life versus Terminator, then Dream versus Stats, Parting versus Soki, and Hero versus Deer. 6 best of 5s. Look at that day of matches and tell me you are not feeling a little too excited.
The whole time you were reading off those things, I feel like I should have just been beatboxing in the background. Like, you were going hard on those, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, these matches are, I can't look at a single match and not be excited for it. Maybe like the Life versus Terminator one. I'm really curious to see what Terminator can do against Life. That's like probably the most one-sided match here, I think.
Every player comes.
Maybe Hero versus Deer as well.
Yeah.
Just because it's Hero.
I mean, every player comes into this tournament with a different story, and I mean, I'm not going to list all the stories off right now because there's 12 stories, and we've got about probably 8 to 10 broadcast hours of time for me to get into that. So that's what I'll be doing.
He's a storyteller. We'll get into that a little bit later.
I'll tell you guys the stories of each one of these players. But this is, if you just look at these matches. Already in the round of 16, we've got some sick players. What we're going to be doing are map bans and picks here.
And we have Zest and FanTaSy awkwardly standing here with
Look at that chin. Zest chin. It's great.
Let's see.
All right, so in this match, I expect to see a ban on Deadwing from FanTaSy. And
or maybe Vani.
Yeah, maybe Vani as well.
Depends.
Could see a ban on Vani from Zest even. It's possible. Just because I don't feel like he'd like to play on that map too much, knowing his style in this matchup. Definitely possibility FanTaSy also bans Sejong, just because Zest is really good at that map. Echo. Oh my god, is this a ladder pool? Inferno pools? This is the map pool? Whoa, nobody told me! Oh my god, of course he banned Inferno pools. Okay, nobody told me that we were playing on ladder maps. Okay, so
Cactus Valley game 1. Okay.
Body research for game 2.
This is a really cool CG, actually.
Yeah.
We're getting it translated in real time and put into English for you guys. Coda map 3.
Okay. And map 4.
Sejong?
Expedition. Good guess, Sojung, but it's going to be game 5 on Sejong.
Okay.
Iron Fortress. What? Sejong's not even in the pool?
It's ladder map pool, man.
Wow,
There's no Sejong. No overgrowth either.
Okay, well, this is definitely going to be really interesting. I can't believe Iron Fortress is actually in the ladder pool. I'm really sad about that. But Coda is an okay map. Echo is definitely a really cool-looking map. But yeah, like I've said publicly many times, like I don't always agree with Blizzard's choices on the map pool, but I do feel like. Oh, hold that thought. We're going into a little intro.
안녕하세요. KT 로스터 프로토스 유저 주성욱입니다. 작년에 캐스파컵 우승 자격으로 이렇게 본선에 참가하게 되었는데 작년에 우승한 만큼 또 높은 곳까지 올라가고 싶어요. 만나고 싶은 상대는 제가 최근에 조성주 선수한테 좀 많이 져가지고 조성주 선수 만나서 꼭 복수하고 싶어요. 그냥 16강인 만큼 다 잘한다고 생각하기 때문에 딱히 그런 건 없는 거고 그냥 우승 상금이나 막 그런 걸 보고 우승하려는 게 아니라 그냥 우승하는 것 자체가 너무 좋기 때문에 그냥 우승이란 타이틀이 좋아서 우승하고 싶어요. 제가 좀 낯가림이 심한 편인데 그냥 정해놓은 선수는 없는데 그냥 저는 모든 프로게이머 분들과 다 두루두루 친해지고 싶어가지고 다 친해지고 싶어요. 제가 좀 무표정으로 하고 있으면 좀 화난 줄 아시는 분이 있는데 전혀 그런 거 아니고 항상 마음이 열려 있으니까 먼저 다가와 주셨으면 좋겠어요. 예전만큼 하고 있다고는 말 못하지만 그래도 점점 다시 잘하는 모습 보여드리고 있는 것 같아서 기분 좋고 이번 캐스파컵 계기로 다시 정상에 설 수 있도록 있는 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다. 진짜 매번 매일 열심히 하고 있기 때문에 꼭 성과는 나올 거라고 믿고 지금처럼 꾸준히 열심히 하다 보면 더 잘할 수 있을 것 같아요.
안녕하세요. 데드픽셀즈 소속의 프로게이머 테란 정명훈입니다. 네, 일단 제가 좀 다른 선수들보단 비교적 쉽게 올라온 편인데 쉽게 올라왔지만 쉽게 떨어지지 않고 꼭 높은 곳까지 올라갈 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 사실 김명식 선수 만나고 싶었는데 못 만나게 된 것 같아서 좀 아쉽고요. 하지만 뭐 다음에 또 기회가 있을 거라 생각하고 있어요. 일단 이삭이나 준호가 좀 많이 껄끄러웠는데 피하게 돼서 일단 다행인 것 같고 그래도 나중에 올라가면 또 만날 수 있기 때문에 준비를 많이 해야 될 것 같아요. 이병래 선수랑 친해지고 싶은데 굉장히 재밌는 것 같아요. 옆에서 봤을 때. 그래서 좀 친해지고 싶은데 병렬아 말 편하게 할게. 저 원이삭의 추적자야. 다른 사람 건 괜찮은데 이삭이랑 하면 좀 짜증이 나더라고요. 일단 사실 국내 리그가 최근에 많이 없어서 이렇게 경기를 많이 못 보여줬던 것 같아요. 그래서 이번 캐스파컵을 좋은 기회로 생각하고 있고 높이 올라가서 최대한 많은 경기 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다. 정명훈 화이팅!
최근에 해외 대회를 많이 봤는데 되게 생각보다 잘하시는 것 같아가지고 저도 준비를 많이 해와야 될 것 같고 그리고 그렇긴 하지만 제가 이길 자신 있어가지고 연습 많이 해오셔야 될 것 같아요.
아마 오랜만에 경기하게 되는 것 같은데 열심히 준비해 오셔야 될 것 같고 이번에 꼭 제가 올라가도록 하겠습니다.
KT 로스터 Zest 주성우 vs Dead Pixels Fantasy 정명훈.
Cool, man. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Going into KeSPA Cup here. Zest versus FanTaSy, the first matchup we got for you guys.
This is going to be sick. It was actually really cool interviews that we had there. We didn't have it translated for you guys, but bottom line is Zest knows that he is one of the favorites in the tournament. He did win last time, but This is definitely going to be harder than the last time, he says. And looking at his record here, you can see he's got an insanely good win rate overall in official matches. He's also played, in total, like almost 350 games.
Some of these Protosses, man. I mean, you even look at SOS's ranking, how many wins he has compared to how many losses. It's just pretty incredible what some of these Protosses can do specifically.
Well, he looks pretty ready here. Now, the first map is going to be Cactus Valley, as mentioned before. And we've got this ladder pool in here, which is a bit unusual.
You see him, you think he's calmly sitting in the booth, but actually he's spamming 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, 8A even one time.
Yeah, one time he did the 8A. Now, let's talk about FanTaSy briefly here. And can I just say the Dead Pixel logo is really cool. It's actually one of my favorite team logos. It looks really good. FanTaSy comes from SKT. Definitely a player who is famous for that time, as Sojung was saying before. He wants to pave a new road, a new path. He was saying in his interview that he knows it's a good opportunity for him to prove himself here, and he knows that the other players look at him as one of the weakest players in the tournament. But he just wants to show some good games. And he also mentioned that playing against Parting is something that might make him a bit angry, if I caught that correctly. So we'll see if that ends up happening in this tournament or not.
A lot of people with Parting just like a little bit angry, a little bit ticked off by his trash talk, That's what happens sometimes. If you're too forward like that, especially in Korean society, they'll just be like, oh, F you, like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. So people do want to eliminate Parting from this tournament. Not an easy task, as Parting is one of the best players in the world right now.
We're going to jump into this game in like a couple seconds here, man. It's already loaded up. We're going into Cactus Valley. 4-player map. Going into a really good PvT, actually. Really excited to see how FanTaSy can do versus Protoss. Let's jump into the game right now. Zest versus FanTaSy.
KT roster Zest 주성우 vs Dead Pixels FanTaSy 정명훈.
Here in the top left, in the yellow, our Protoss player, he's Zest.
Zest is best, as they say. And to the top right, in red, for Dead Pixels, it's FanTaSy. Former SKT Terran, winning his GSL group 4-0. Building a little bit more hype for this tournament while doing so, especially with that finale with the Cloak Banshee.
Oh, yeah. Incredible game. I was casting that with Moonglade. Actually, probably the most exciting game I've ever casted in my entire career. It takes a great game to say that, so definitely go watch the highlight or at least the game.
Yeah. I'd recommend watching the game because the build-up is also quite epic. So let's talk about these two players' histories as to why this tournament may matter for them. So Zest is a player who's he's the champion of the last KeSPA Cup. He was able to win that in a Protoss vs. Protoss finals against Hero. Super strong player. Was considered to be the best Protoss in the world for a long time last year. And now has fallen off a bit. Not to say he's not one of the best pros, but he's not top 3 up there with, Hero, Parting, and Stats. So he has a lot to prove in that regard.
He's definitely 4, though. If we have to put Zest at, on a ranking scale of top Protosses, he's definitely up there. He's still top 5, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. Let's see how he can prove himself in this tournament, because losing to FanTaSy here would not say that to me.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It could also say FanTaSy is just doing incredibly well. We'll see if what he did in GSL can transfer over here. He defeated 2 Zergs, as we mentioned. It was Rogue and who's the other Zerg?
Oh my God,
I'm thinking Dark, but it wasn't. It
wasn't Dark.
You're gonna look it up right now. You brought your iPad.
I am.
It's all good.
I don't know why I can't remember this either.
Someone's already typing in Twitch chat saying, "Who are these casters? Why don't they know? They casted 2 days ago.
They casted 300 times this year already." That's what you should be saying.
Yeah.
Nerd, I got you. It was Sue, obviously, yeah.
Ah, okay.
I don't know why I couldn't remember that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about FanTaSy a bit here. This is a bit of a slow roll here. It's a CC first versus just a normal gateway expand here with Zealot cancel. There's the Nexus. You don't need to know anything else.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy here.
FanTaSy is a player who is known as the Terrorist Terran, which became once again evident in StarCraft 2 with his Banshee finisher recently. But he's known for controlling groups of units really well, doing a lot of harassment, and being more focused on his micro than his macro. In that sense, he's almost like a new age boxer. Like he's not the biggest macro Terran. He's all about harassment, all about micro and controlling, getting in your opponent's head. Because of the CC first, his probe will get in here, but not going to be able to do anything else. But FanTaSy wants to prove that he's, again, in StarCraft 2, a top player. He lost his spot in SKT, or perhaps decided to give it up. Nobody really knows. But he moved into a foreign team, and so people were expecting maybe he'd drop off. But on the other hand, he's now recently, won his GSL group against good players. And I think he just still has to prove himself, though. And I think that's what this tournament is for him, as he was saying in his interview, a good opportunity.
Oh, yeah, a great opportunity. Even in this first match, going up against Zest, you got a big challenge ahead of you, FanTaSy. We'll see what you can do.
I think we're going to see Blink from this Twilight Council from Zest, just simply because this is versus a CC first. Yeah. And now he's scouted the factory, so he's probably thinking, okay, this is going to be so easy for me to pressure. You're not going to have a lot of Marines. This is a great map for Blink. There's a huge area in the main, and there's Blink on the way.
Yeah. No surprise. I mean, even from Zest, he loves to do this. Zest one of the biggest Protosses to me that if he sees a Terran going greedy, he'll punish it. He's like a Punisher to me. He always loves to put on the pressure. If he sees an opening,
Yeah, he really does.
He's one of the Protosses that loves to think and not just play kind of robotically. You know what I mean? He loves to go in and punish his opponents, like I said before.
Yeah.
So see what he can do. We're seeing the Observer point out all the places you can blink on this map.
Exactly. And keep in mind, FanTaSy still has no idea. He even scans here again. This is like, what are you doing? He's making Widow Mines in expectation of proxy oracles because he saw there's nothing in the main base, no tech whatsoever. He didn't see the bottom left because the Stalker warded him out. And unfortunately for him, Widow Mines are not going to be useful against this type of play at all because the Stalkers can actually just simply blink away from them.
Yeah.
He also has a robo follow-up, so this is definitely going to be a lot of pressure that FanTaSy's going to be taking here.
Zest, his gateways are a little bit late. He's finally putting them down, the 2 extra ones. Looking to line up there with that blink once it finishes. Get a nice little boost to his Stalkers coming out here. We have that first drop coming out. Just 2 Widow Mines. And Zest actually now just going home. Yeah. I feel like if Zest just went for like a huge blink follow-up, he could do a ton of damage, but I'm not sure how much he's going to commit to this.
Oh, here we go. Here come these Widow Mines. And the first Observer is almost out. Not quite out yet. 2 kills there, not the end of the world, but here comes the second one, and he's not pulling yet. Observer's out, but it's not in the right spot. Okay, good pulls.
Yeah. Just 1 kill. Not bad. 3 in total. Gonna kill all these Widow Mines. I'd say that's like medium level Widow Mine harassment.
And with this blink, he just kind of sat back. He didn't pressure. It wasn't an all-in. It wasn't a big commitment. He's actually just going to take this, looks like now, and use it to defend as he techs into his Colossi, as you were saying, and double Forge tech coming up as well. Worker counts pretty good for FanTaSy. He only got a few kills, but he's been constantly managing his SCV production. So being just a few Harvesters behind plus Mules is a really good place to be right now as a Terran.
Looks like the Medevac is kind of faking a drop, but there's nothing in that guy.
Yep.
And Blink finishes up. He's going to have to be very careful with that in the future. We see a Raven out of FanTaSy. Not something you see very often versus Protoss these days. It's very good for getting Observers out of your base.
Yeah.
We've just seen hiding some information.
Exactly. We've seen it somewhat recently, like making a bit of a comeback, but only with openings like this because you have that starport already. You can just switch a tech lab for a second. Okay, here comes the Stalker group over here. This is not enough Stalkers to do massive damage, but it's definitely going to force FanTaSy to react. It's also going to delay his third base here, as you can see.
Blinks onto the site, says, no, you're not building that.
Yeah. Goodbye, SCV. Oh, Zest is not going to be able to stick around too long here, as Stim is about to finish. To pick off a few Marines, though, if FanTaSy's control is not perfect.
This. I love when Protosses do this. Not that. Definitely don't want to move command to the army, but when they keep this small little stalker squad out there, they get like 3 or 4 Marines, you know. It's definitely something you could do to punish the Terran.
Yeah, this is the kind of play that you see at the highest level of StarCraft, where you have the multitasking to be making probes at home and chrono boosting your force upgrades, and also microing stalkers at the highest level against killing 1 or 2 Marines. It seems so insignificant, but it does add up, these things, slowly over time.
There's that Raven coming into play. Snipes out an Observer. And he's only got 2 left. First Colossus is out. FanTaSy, of course, looking to put on the pressure. Possibly pull a Maru, try to snipe out some Colossi, but Zest in a great position there. No way FanTaSy could have walked up that ramp.
He wants to force a stim here, and he gets it. Gets a Marine as well. Nicely done. We see another drop queued up at home, possibly just to reinforce. An Observer is going to go check this third base timing.
The timing on those upgrades, man. That's something like only a true StarCraft nerd will be really into, but like the instant it finished, 2-2 on the way. The instant. And by how fast those are coming up here, actually, he's chrono boosting those. He's paying so much attention to those.
Yeah, look at that on the production tab. That's chronoed hard, okay? Keep in mind that he's already a whole set of upgrades ahead of FanTaSy with the +1 armor advantage. And if this game goes on longer, he's going to have a huge advantage. But this is a big drop here, and there's nothing to spot this. That's part of why this Raven is so good. And here we go. Coming into the main base with 5 medevacs. He's going to need to pull that second Colossus up here. Just 1 is not going to cut it.
That Colossus is in a crazy position, man, in the front, taking some damage. Another Colossus on the right, but it doesn't go down.
PDD might save the day here. Does end up killing 1 medevac in a last little Marauder there.
Yeah, I don't know how good that drop was, actually.
Not as good as he wanted it to be. He wanted to snipe a Colossus. He wanted to snipe some tech. He didn't get any of those things. But what this drop does give him is a lot of space in order to take his third base. He's also damaged a lot of those Colossi pretty heavily. So follow-up attacks, maybe even when we get Vikings out in this game, Colossi are going to be a little bit easier to take out.
Yeah, that is true. But at the same time, I kind of am worried for FanTaSy about these upgrades. You know, 2-2 nearing completion. He's going to go straight into 3-3, I'm sure. And FanTaSy just now only finishing up his +1 armor. So he's going to be way behind in those upgrades. Zest kind of playing, old style, creator style even. Yeah. And see what he can do. He's going to have a huge follow-up here on 3-3 with just a big Protoss death ball.
Exactly. This third base is going to be so difficult for FanTaSy to attack at this timing. Like, Maru could do it easy peasy, right? Well, let's see if FanTaSy can. Okay, he's going for the Maru move. Drops come from behind, and those Colossi are weak, as I mentioned before. He does micro them back, and that also means they're losing DPS. 2 Colossi do go down. And his third base.
That was actually a really good move out of FanTaSy, man. That was awesome, man. That was wow.
I mean, it was definitely a good move, and it eliminated those expensive Colossi. But he can't stick around because of those upgrades you were talking about earlier. And the third Nexus had too much hit points. He came at a time where it already built up quite a bit of hit points, because obviously the hit points come as it's building. And if he had hit like a little bit sooner, maybe he could have killed it. That would have been even better. But again, these upgrades are going to be the issue, as 3-3 is now starting. Actually, he starts +3 armor and the shield upgrade instead of getting attacked.
Kind of defensive upgrades there, I guess.
Yeah.
Get your armor and your shields.
It's going to definitely help him with the Archon transition he's bound to make in the very near future.
FanTaSy once again looking to put on the pressure. He never wants Zest to go above 3 Colossi. He's always just forcing that number down, trading with these armies, and keeping Zest away from that scary, scary 3-3 death ball.
This is such a scary FanTaSy army, regardless of the upgrade issue. One of the things to note about FanTaSy's army is he's still not making Vikings. He's pulling a bit of a flash here. 13 medevacs.
Bit of a Maru as well.
Yeah.
Maru loving to do this style. Just straight on, full barracks production there, as you guys can see. We're going to see another death drop into the main, actually. Everything going to be dropped in there.
Yep, and there's no vision because of this Raven. This is such an important Raven for this reason.
This is really cool play out of FanTaSy.
Okay, big drop here in the main base. Now attacking these probes even. They actually have to get pulled.
Another PDD goes down.
It's helping out quite a bit, actually. These Marauders are doing some serious work here. He's going to eventually want to get out of here, but look at this. The probes are like, oh, wait, I guess I can't come back yet. Now he's going to have to boost
kind
away.
of overstaying, rather. And these Stalkers are right underneath the medevacs. 2 of them go down. And the majority of FanTaSy's army wasn't even with that drop.
Exactly. Imagine if he was hitting the third base at the same time, how strong this attack could have ended up being.
That's the Maru move, man.
Well, FanTaSy is just going to come in here, try to burst down these Colossi. He does get half health on one of them, but unfortunately it's not enough. And now he's just taking terrible trades. And with the upgrade disadvantage he has, this is what RO.16 would call an anti-timing. Look at the upgrades. They're not ready yet. He attacks right before they finish, which totally destroys the power of this sort of attack. And I feel like he's washed water on rock too many times at this point. And now Zest has an army that can easily contend with his, plus the upgrade advantage that he has.
Yep, those shields, they do finish up as well as that armor. Finally, +3 attack coming through for Zest, rather. And he is going to get that +2 shield. So Zest just holding on 3 base, man. I was saying, like, FanTaSy's attacks were just really good earlier on, but now he's, like you said, just not doing enough damage, and he's got to think of another plan. We already see him switching into pretty heavy Viking production now, 4 at a time.
Yeah. You know, I feel like this is something he should have been doing earlier, and it's coming back to bite him. Like, he knew that he was going to switch to Vikings eventually. He even had +1 for Vikings finished before he made his first Viking. Like, he knew that this was going to eventually be a transition plan. But now he's got no advantages in tech whatsoever, or upgrades, and an army that's also in basically equivalent size to Zest. Zest can fight this army head on without any fear. You saw that blink forward there. He was totally confident to fight this army. And we have actually so much confidence from Zest. He's so confident he's in Research Storm. We don't even see this in Korea that often anymore. It's usually just straight Archon. That you get the Storm out, you know you're a comfortable Protoss.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what FanTaSy can do here. It looks like he's scanning a bunch, actually, to get rid of those observers once again. He did lose that Raven to the Blink Stalkers, but now just posturing here. Able to get one decent hit on one Colossus, but he's got to back up and get a better concave here. He can't really fight in this choke, but actually he's just going to go for it. The Blink Stalkers blinking right underneath those Vikings, doing a ton of damage.
This is a great arc for FanTaSy's army, though. Stalkers here on the right side, or rather on the top side, doing a lot of damage to the Vikings, but finally the Colossi are just going to be able to rule out here because there's too many Zealots on the ground, too many upgrades. The +2 shields is about to finish. We had +1 shields and +3 the entire time. This Terran army's at 2-2, and the upgrades really tell the story. I mean, we saw a huge, perfect arc. That was the best engagement FanTaSy could have asked for, but it still just does not matter. And now he's bullied all the way back, and if you look at the supply, you're like, well, FanTaSy's ahead, but that's because there's no warp-ins. They're warping in right now for High Templar.
Yeah.
+3 is about to finish.
Zest there, it looks like he had warped in a bunch of High Templar, but he was forced to make him into Archons for that fight. Storm is finally complete, and this is a really, really scary time for FanTaSy. Still 5 Colossi on the map, so many Blink Stalkers to get rid of these Vikings, and 2 excellent Time Warps come down here too as well.
He doesn't have many Zealots to buffer. The Colossi are starting to fall though, or rather not really falling as the Vikings start to fall is what I mean to say, with this many Stalkers. The upgrades are just too much. With +3 Stalkers versus a mostly pure Marauder army, look at this warp in here.
And look at the SCVs going down. That's at the third base. 4 Zealots decimate that third base. No reminding there. 29 SCVs have gone down, and it looks like Zest in prime position to take this first game. GG.
Well, Zest already taken a fairly easy win. Very straight up, very straightforward. Just holding off FanTaSy's aggression. FanTaSy, I feel like, did some decent damage and did do some good trading. And he was really on point with his SCV production. But eventually he stayed too long. He decided to keep dropping too much. He didn't pull out his drops fast enough. And these kinds of issues like take away the one advantage you have when you're down in upgrades, which is army size. You lose your army size and you're down in upgrades. You don't have any advantages anymore.
Liking everything you said, Wolf. I also really liked Zest's play there. Going for the blink first before Robo, putting on the pressure, getting himself some space to get out that army, get those upgrades out, taking a very late third base, but he was totally fine with it because he knew he could afford it based on those upgrades. FanTaSy, he doesn't really look like